Yo, what is up, everyone? Kyrios here, and today we are going to do a tier list for Kaiten, and hopefully it should be able to help you out with at least trying to make the 2 or 3 teams you're going to need. For Kaiten, you really need to do it in about two teams, and there are some core units. Once again, this list is my own opinions based on my own experiences as well, so it may differ from other lists that are out there, but you should let me know in the comments down below how you felt about it, or if you felt like one should have shifted up or down or anywhere like this, or maybe if I missed someone, right? Let me know down in the comments. And as we're going through this, like and subscribe. I do appreciate every single last one of you, and let's go. Okay, so once again, we're going to do these in just random order on how they appear and how I kind of ordered it anyways. So let's start off with the top of the gambit, and I think you all know where she belongs. We got Hibiki once again at the top of the bracket. She's an S rank across the board for so many, but especially for Kaiten. Her AoE becomes very useful in phase 1 and technically in phase 2. So now that you can now borrow students, there's a good possibility that you're going to want to borrow Hibiki for your second team as well. Moving on down the road, we do have Serena at an A rank. This will make a lot more sense as we go through the list. She's a really great healer, and you're going to have to plug her into a specific team anyways, and probably your phase 1 team. If you were trying to one team this, you really wouldn't use Serena. You would use Koharu, which brings us to the next S rank right there, which is Koharu. Koharu is really amazing, and she's especially needed on the second team for taking down the Megazord, or what I call the Megazord, right? Because I believe it's based off Power Rangers, right? It kind of looks like it, but that's how I feel about it. Going down the list, we do have Akari in B rank. Now, Akari does bring a decent amount of AoE, but I wouldn't consider her over a lot of other better options. Mainly because her 4 costs can be a little brutal at times, but if you ever built up, she can have a place. And once again, you can take these tiers and always work them up, right? So if you're missing a lot of S ranks, use A ranks. If you're missing a lot of A ranks, use B ranks, right? And if you're missing everything, I don't think you're going to do extreme, but so that is what it is. Next up on the list, we do have Juri, and now she is a C rank. So hear me out on this one. She technically is an E rank as well, and could technically be an A rank depending on if you're doing the cheese strat. So I kind of put her in between. In the first phase, you could use her to bring all the sushi men together, or at least some of them, to get some better AoE synergy. Just realize that when you do that, you're going to be taken away from your damage or your healing, and it's going to be hard to maybe plug her in there, right? You won't be able to do like Serena plus Hibiki. You'd have to do like Serena plus Juri, and that might hurt you a bit as well too. So you have to have some really strong AoE to pull that method off. But it is a cheese method, and it has been done. Next up on the list, we do have Mishiro. Mishiro is a D rank, and really you're not going to bring her very often. Yeah, she's got single target damage, but you really don't want single target damage except for on the second phase. But even then, there's way better options for the students that you're going to be bringing. Next up, E rank, we have the Burger Girl. And I think that's no surprise, Izumi being at the bottom of the list. So you could technically bring her to her second team to act as a pseudo tank in doing damage, and that would place her a little bit higher on the list, but she is the Burger Girl, and no one's got her built. I would be shocked if anyone has level 70'd her and maxed out her skills. And if so, you should probably call me, okay? We're going to talk at that point. Next up on the list, we do have Shizumi at E rank as well. Shizumi does bring a little bit of AoE, and has some pretty good synergy on her sub skills. But once again, way better options to bring than Shizumi. Next up, we do have Akane at C rank. Now, Akane can be higher up in the rank, and she's especially better at the second phase of Kaiten. assuming you have a lot of damage, like a 5-star, 5 stars across the board that can pick up the damage of not having another red damage. And I don't think we're there yet with not having T6 gear and a few others. So that's why she's a little bit lower on the playing field. But she can act as a pseudo tank, and she can increase the damage of some of your other characters. So that is someone you can plug in there if you need to find someone to plug. All right, next up on the list, we have Yuka at D rank. Yuka's not really the best tank to bring for either phase. You're not really going to bring a tank, in my opinion, for second phase Kaiten. With the amount of healing that you need to bring and the DPS you need, you're really not going to do it. So you're going to bring a tank for the first phase. And there's way better tanks. Now, she's pretty good at evasion, but she's not really going to soak the damage of the 5 sushi men properly, because she's going to want to take cover, and she may not be in the middle, which may hurt your team with some cleave damage there. So I really wouldn't bring her in there. Next up, we do have Hare, and we're going to put her at C rank just because if you need to plug and play someone there, once again, for a phase 1 team, you can use her for stunning to try and mitigate some of that damage. Honestly, I would probably put her a little bit lower. I'm actually kind of feeling that she should be D rank, and I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to change it up on the fly here. I'm thinking that's where she's going to be. Next up, we do have Kyriosyuudai. We don't have Kyriosyuudai yet, but Kyriosyuudai is pretty good at the second phase of Kaiten. Can do a lot of damage, but does require cycling her EX skill. And once again, some better options out there as we start getting through some of these S ranks. And you could plug her in. You could, if you have a really decked out, Kyriosyuudai with an Akko, right? Like to combine them to make them go pew pew, Megazord damage, especially on when Kaiten is not outdoors, right? Might be urban. It especially works pretty good. Next up on the list, we do have Sericat. Now, Sericat, in my opinion, is an S rank. But the reason we're going to put her as an A rank is that she's really not the star of the show with Kaiten as she is with like Hero Ninmas. But she's great to plug into your first team. You can technically plug her into your second team if I'm thinking this off the top of my head on how I would do it. But you would really put her in her first team and really just to bring some more supporting damage. In a really easy 2 cost to be able to cycle a lot faster. Next up, we have Kotama. More damage, amazing. Can be used in phase 1, can be used in phase 2. Probably going to be used in phase 2 when you're pairing her with Koharu. So you can bring Hibiki and Hibiki, Koharu, and Kotama together, right? That would be a really good synergy, assuming you can borrow a Hibiki, because you do need Hibiki for that first team as well. All right, next up we have Haruka. Haruka is actually a pretty decent tank here. Probably my second best pick tank instead of picking our S rank tank, which we might as well talk about our S rank tank right after this. I would plug her in. She's got good survivability. She does red damage, so she's gonna help you out with a little bit of that damage and a little bit of that tanking, which is really good. But let's talk about the S rank since we're already talking about tanks. Tsubaki is the S rank tank. It is the sushi men. You can taunt them. You can ability interrupt them. You could bring them a little better together if you place her in the right location, so that it brings some of the top side sushi men a little bit further down or a little bit more together, so you can at least cleave like 2 or 3 of them. She's perfect. She's wonderful for this role. Absolutely wonderful for this role. And then speaking of talking about another person who's wonderful in the S rank role, is we're going to go ahead and skip through, which is Mutsuki. Mutsuki is one of the best 2 stars that you could bring to Kaiten. Just a great amount of AoE. Those mines, if you can position them correctly, can hit either some of those sushi men or can hit the boss. You can actually bring her to either phase 1 or phase 2, depending on if you pull for Summer Hina or not. And you can plug and play her, and I think she's a perfect pickup. If you've got her built and you've got some investment into her, definitely throw her in there. So let's talk about the next one I just mentioned anyways, is Summer Hina. Summer Hina is a staple of Kaiten. She's way better than regular Hina. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair to regular Hina. But the fact that her EX skill is 3 cost, wide arching AoE, allows her to hit all those sushi men and do a lot of damage. And she's pretty critical to a one teaming phase, right? Because you need to bring a decent amount of AoE and a decent amount of single target in order to do a one team extreme eventually. So she is crucial. Can you do extreme without her? Probably. And I'm probably going to test this out. Is she way easier to do extreme with? Yes, absolutely. So I would definitely maybe give her a couple rolls. I know a lot of us are hurting from Summer Azusa and a few other limiteds. Next up on the board, we do have Shun. Shun is just great damage altogether. She's got great passes with increased damage and just sniper rifle, just doing consistent damage. Would definitely put her into your team 1 for taking down the sushi men, and great if you have her. I still don't have her. Makes me really sad. Okay, guys, I'm actually going to do something a little bit different. We are going to throw another tier on here at the last second, and Shiroko is honestly that double S tier. Now, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, Summer Hina should probably be up there too. But the reason why she's double S is that Kaiten puts this shield on him that requires you to hit the shield 10 times to bring it down with using EX skills. She's able to do that in one single EX skill. She can take down that shield instantaneously. She makes the fight way better, and she does great overall damage. Absolutely wonderful. So we're gonna give her her own tier because she deserves it. Next up on the list, we do have Hina. We're gonna put down in the C rank. Hina's 7 cost makes it really hard to justify her, even though it is wide arching. Now you're thinking, well, why not Hina and Summer Hina? Yeah, you could do that, but I'd rather cycle Summer Hina a lot faster, right? Going through like Mutsuki with Serika and Summer Hina, and then you're gonna have to do some taunting with Tsubaki too. So that's a decent amount of CP right there, right? So you gotta always keep your CP in check. Next up on the list, we do have Summer Iori. We're gonna put her in A ring. Summer Iori is especially good for the second phase of Kaiten. She does that chill damage, which is great, just great overall damage. If I was making a team with her, obviously it would be like probably Koharu. We're just gonna give away another S rank here. Koharu, Azusa, Summer Iori, and Shiroko. Right, that's probably what I'm thinking, which brings us to our next S rank, which is Azusa. And Azusa is always wonderful, right? She's great for any kind of single target damage. She does defense breaking, and she can burst. She can burst really hard, even when her synergy or affinity is not correct. And you're gonna need to deck out Azusa anyways, so definitely worth the squeeze on that one. Next up on the list, we do have, I'm trying to look at my list over here at the same time. We do have Hoshino. If you do need to plug another tank in for phase 1, you don't have a Tsubaki, you don't have a Haruka, Hoshino can work here as well, especially with an EX3 Hoshino where you can stun them. Just realize that she might like knock them out of place or knock them into place, and she's not going to do red damage, so that will hurt you to an extent. Next up, we do have Hane. Hane is if you need extra healing, you don't have a Hibiki, which doing this fight without Hibiki is like, you know, please, can I down this fight? But Hane is going to give you that crit damage and a little bit of extra healing. Next up, we do have Emi. Now, technically, maybe I should have put Hoshino down a rank to D rank. Emi is the better positioning than Hoshino. But I don't, in between Tsubaki and Haruka, you're not going to really choose any other tank as of right now. And in more than likely, you already have a Tsubaki belt. Everyone has Tsubaki belt. So going on, we do have Akko. Akko is amazing. You can plug her into your team 1 or even team 2. You'd probably more fit her into a team 2 with doing like Kotama plus Akko, plus like Azusa, right? And just like supercharging your Azusa. That's the way I would probably do it, because you need a healer, and Koharu's on the board, so that's the way that you'd be able to plug her in there. Next up, we do have Aru, and Aru is an amazing S rank as well. So if you have a lot of these natural 3-stars, you can bring them to your team 1, right? You can make a team like Mutsuki plus Aru plus Summer Hina plus Serika, right? 4 strikers that are just bam, bam, bam. We're gonna knock out those sushi men with a Hibiki and a Serena, right? I guess you'd have to bring a tank, so you'd probably at that point remove maybe Mutsuki or Serika and put a tank in there. But Aru's actually really good here. But Aru's only good if you can taunt them, move them in a specific area where she can at least hit 2, if not 3 at the same time. And that's where we're talking about that jury strat, or doing the proper taunting, right? Making sure Tsubaki's a little bit lower, taunting to bring them closer together. Because if you're only one-shotting with Aru, she's definitely not worth it. She's definitely not worth it. Next up, we are going to show you a sneak peek at the Hot Springs Nodoka, and we're going to put her in A rank. She's actually really, really good. And she would replace your Serena, in all honesty, because you can put her down and she could heal everyone. She's absolutely amazing. So look forward to her. I know that we don't have her yet, and I know we don't have Akko yet. So some of these picks are a little bit later in life, right? And that's all I really got, guys. I hope that tier list helped you out. This is the list that I'm comfortable with. Now you can move a few people here and there, maybe moving Aru maybe down a tier to A rank, and moving Hoshino maybe down a rank as well. But it gives you an idea of the characters you can bring and kind of the combinations you can do. Just remember that your first team is AoE centric and your second team is single target centric. And you really need to have that Shiroko. If you do not have that Shiroko, it's definitely going to really hurt a lot. I just realized I haven't had this light on the whole time. I was wondering why my face looked weird. Anyways, that's all I got. If you guys liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Hopefully this helped you out, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.